Students, so in this video we are going to solve few MCQs based on chapter number 2, that is electrostatic potential and capacitance. So for this chapter we will solve 12 to 15 questions which are from your textbook and which are most likely to be asked in your board exams, right? So we'll start with the first MCQ. What is electric potential at 9 centimeter from 4 into 10 raised to minus 7 coulomb charge? I think this will be the example of your textbook, but they are asking short examples and exercises in the form of MCQs, right? Okay, so for a point charge we know that electric potential is kq by r, right? Substitute the values. What is the value of k? 9 into 10 raised to 9. Q is given 4 into 10 raised to minus 7 upon r, 9 centimeter, so that is 9 into 10 raised to minus 2 meter, right? 9 gets cancelled, so this will be 4 into 10 raised to 2 and this will be plus 2, so 4 into 10 raised to 4, so that will be 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 volt. Clear? Right? We just have to use the formula for a point charge, potential for a point charge. So this is your option. Clear? Done? Okay. The second one. What is electric potential due to a dipole in equatorial plane? Okay, equatorial plane, that means perpendicular to the dipole. That means if this is your dipole, they are asking you to calculate potential here, somewhere here. This is equatorial plane, right? Let this distance be r, this dipole moment is p, the angle is 90. Okay, so from the formula of electric potential due to dipole, it is V is equals to Kp cos theta by r square, where theta is the angle between P and R. Clearly in our question the angle between P and R is 90, right? So it will be Kp cos 90 divided by r square, but what is cos 90? 0, so potential is 0. If the same question they are asking you to calculate potential along the axis this way, then place theta equals to 0, so it will be Kp by r square. Okay, but in present question we have to calculate the electric potential along equatorial plane, so that will be 0. Done? Okay, the next one. Okay, so the third one, which of the following is a polar molecule? What do you mean by polar molecule? Molecules having permanent dipole moment, right? That means if this is how, see, this plus minus, they are separated by a distance, finite distance away, they are having permanent dipole moment, right? So those molecules having permanent dipole moment are known as polar molecules. So out of the following, H plus Cl minus is polar, H2 is also polar. O2 is not a polar molecule, it is a non-polar molecule. So your answer is both B and C. This is your answer. Both these molecules are known as polar molecules. Both of them are having permanent dipole moment. Clear? Okay. The next one. Okay, the fourth one. What is the total charge on the capacitor? First of all, capacitor is also known as condenser. So they can ask the same question, what is the total charge on condenser? Right? What actually capacitor is? It's a device where one plate is positively charged and the another plate is negatively charged, right? These are known as the charges of capacitor, charges on capacitor. Since one is positive charge, the other plate is equally negative charge, so the net charge on the capacitor will always be 0. Net charge or the total charge on the capacitor is 0. Yes, of course, when you are using this formula Q by B, this actually means you are writing the magnitude of any one of the charge. V means you are writing the potential difference of these two plates. This the formula is all about. C is equals to mod of Q upon V1 minus V2. This is how you are writing this formula. But the total charge or the net charge on the capacitor will be 0. Even though charge is 0, but electric field is not 0. Clear? Done? Capacitor is also known as condenser. Fine? The next one. Okay, what is the value of dielectric strength of air? This was the same question asked in your board MCQ. First of all, dielectric means insulator. Insulator. Air serves as or air behaves as insulator up to certain values of electric field, right? Up to a maximum value of electric field, air will behave as insulator. After that, air will be a conductor. So the question is, what is the value of dielectric strength? Dielectric strength means the maximum value of electric field up to which air behaves as insulator. So this maximum value of electric field is known as dielectric strength, right? So they are asking you the maximum value of electric field up to which air will behave as insulator. So the value is 3 into 10 raised to 6 volt per meter. This is the value, right? Okay, so your correct option will be B. It is 3000 volt per mm. Mm means 10 raised to minus 3 meter. So this will be 3 into 10 raised to 6 volt per meter, right? So this is the answer. Clear? Clear? The next one. Okay, so the sixth MCQ, 3 capacitors of capacitance 2 picofarad, 3 picofarad and 4 picofarad are connected in parallel. Okay, what is the total capacitance of the combination? So there are 3 capacitors, they are connected parallel with each other, right? One is having the value 2 picofarad, the other one is having 3, 4. Fine. So in parallel combination of capacitor, equivalent will be C1 plus C2 plus C3. If the same question they are asking you to calculate in series, so then it will be 1 by C1 plus 1 by C2 plus 1 by C3. You just need to add this 2 plus 3 plus 4. So it will be 9 picofarad. Right? If it was asked to calculate in series, then it will be 1 by C1, 1 by C2, 1 by C3. Presently, this is the answer. Clear? Okay. The seventh question, what is the angle between electric field and equipotential surface? Yes, angle between electric field and equipotential surface. Now, what is equipotential surface? Surface where potential remains the same. Throughout the surface, potential remains the same. That means if this is your electric field, then this will be your equipotential surface. This way, this is your equipotential surface. Always E will be perpendicular to displacement, right, for equipotential surface, always. So here the question is, what is the angle between electric field and equipotential surface? So this is your equipotential surface, this is electric field. So this angle is 90 degree, or say this angle is 90 degree. So always your equipotential surface is normal to the electric field. So your answer is 90 degree. Clear? Fine. So the next one. Okay, so the eighth one, a 12 picofarad capacitor is connected to 50 volt. You are connecting a 12 picofarad capacitor with 50 volt. Capacitance is 12 picofarad, voltage is 50. How much energy is stored in the capacitor? And this is the unsolved question of your textbook. So energy stored is half CV square. So half 12 into picofarad minus 12 into voltage is 50. So it will be 2500, right? Okay. So this will be 6, 25, 6, 150, 0, 0, 0 into 10 raised to minus 12. So it will be 1.5, 1, 2, 3, 4 into 10 raised to minus 8 joule. That means this is your option. Clear? Then the next one. Okay, so ninth one, what is the work required to be done to rotate the dipole from most stable position to most unstable position? Okay, work required to be done to rotate the dipole. Okay, first of all, what is the most stable position? If this is your electric field, if both dipole moment and electric field are in same direction, that means if the angle between dipole moment and electric field is 0, it will be the most stable position, right? Already these things are given in theory. If the dipole is placed this way, such that the dipole moment is anti-parallel to electric field, that is when theta is 180, it is most unstable. right? Okay, so the question says what is the work required to be done. Okay, so we have to calculate the work done. So the formula to calculate work done will be PE cos theta 1 minus cos theta 2, right? Okay, substitute here PE cos 0, theta 1 is 0. You are turning the dipole from most stable to most unstable, minus cos 180. Okay, so it will be PE 1. What is cos 180? Minus 1. So this will be 2 PE. So work required to be done to rotate the dipole from most stable to most unstable position, that is 2 PE. So this is your option. Clear? Done? The next one. Okay, so the 10th one. What happens to the capacitance when a dielectric is completely inserted between the plates of the capacitor? So between the plates of the capacitor, you are inserting a dielectric completely. What happens to the capacitance? Okay, so see, when there is no dielectrics, right? When there is no dielectric, capacitance for a parallel plate is epsilon naught A by D. We are talking about parallel plate capacitor, right? Now suppose if I am feeling dielectric, I am introducing dielectric of any constant K, then now capacitance is written as epsilon A by D, right? So we'll take the ratio C dash by C, it will be epsilon by epsilon naught, which is equals to K. So finally C dash is K times C. This means that on introducing a dielectric between the plates of the capacitor, capacitance will increase by K factor, right? So your answer will be capacitance will increase, that is A. Clear? Clear? Electric field will be decreased by factor K in presence of any medium, but capacitance will increase by factor K. Clear? The next one. The next one. Okay, what is the ratio of energy stored to energy lost between the plates of the capacitor? The question is asking the ratio for energy stored upon energy lost while charging a capacitor. See, when a capacitor of any capacitance C, when it is connected with a battery of voltage V, right? Battery supplies charge Q, that means energy supplied is Q into V. V is the voltage of the battery and it supplies the charge Q, right? That means let us place CV here, Q equals to CV into V. So CV square, right? But energy stored is half CV square. This is what we had derived in the theory. Energy stored is half CV square. Supplied energy is CV square. Stored is half CV square. That means 50% of the supplied energy is stored and remaining 50% will be lost. That means energy loss will be equals to energy supplied minus energy stored, right? So that is CV square minus half CV square. So this will be again half CV square. So energy loss is half CV square, energy stored is also half CV square. So basically we want the ratio of energy stored to energy loss. So it is same, energy stored is half CV square, 50% of the energy is stored, 50% is lost in the form of heat. So this both will bear a ratio 1:1. If the same question, if they are asking us find the ratio of energy stored to energy supplied, energy stored to energy supplied. So energy stored will be half CV square and supplied will be CV square. So then it will have the ratio of 1:2, right? Or they can ask the question that what is the ratio of energy supplied, energy loss upon energy supplied, ratio of energy loss upon energy supplied. So the answer will be 1/2. Clear? But presently our answer will be 1:1. Okay, the next one. Okay, so the 12th one, 600 picofarad capacitor is charged by a 200 volt supply. You are charging a 600 picofarad capacitor with this capacitance by 200 volt supply. So this is your voltage, right? So battery will supply some charge, let the charge be Q, and energy stored will be half CV square. So it will be half C 6 into 10 raised to minus 10 into 4 into 10 raised to 4 square, right? Okay. So this will be 12 into 10 raised to minus 6 joule. This is the energy stored in a capacitor. Now further the question says Q is the charge established on the capacitor because it is connected with a supply. Now it is disconnected from the supply and is connected to another uncharged 600 picofarad. That means same capacitor. Now you are disconnecting the battery and now a 600 picofarad is connected to another uncharged capacitor. So this capacitor was already charged and you are placing another capacitor with same capacitance. So charge will be divided. This will be at higher voltage, so it will supply the charge to uncharged capacitor. Since the capacitance of both the capacitors are same, so charge will be equally divided. So now this will have the charge Q by 2, this will also have the charge Q by 2, right? So now how much energy is lost in this process? Okay, so we want to calculate the energy loss. This was the energy this capacitor was having, right? Q was the charge on the plates of the capacitor. Now when you are connecting this capacitor with uncharged capacitor of same capacitance, charge will be equally divided since both are having the same capacitance. So now this was having charge Q, so energy was Q square by 2C, right? Now energy stored on this capacitor will be Q by 2 the whole square upon 2C, Q square by 2C, but Q is Q by 2. So this will be Q square by 8C. Similarly, this will now have the charge Q by 2. So energy stored on this capacitor will be Q by 2 the whole square upon 2C. So this will be also Q square by 8C, right? Okay, so what will be the energy of the system? U1 plus U2. So this will be Q square by 8C plus Q square by 8C. So this will be Q square by 4C. Right? So this is half of Q square by C, Q square by 2C. Right? Now what was Q square by 2C? U, that is 12 into 10 raised to minus 6. Right? So 12 into 10 raised to minus 6 upon 2. So 6 into 10 raised to minus 6. This is the energy which the system will have from 12 into 10 raised to minus 6. This is the energy with this both the capacitors will be having. So what will be the loss? This minus this. This is the energy which both the capacitors are having. This was the initial energy or total energy. So loss will be this minus this. So that is 12 into 10 raised to minus 6 minus 6 into 10 raised to minus 6. So that will be 6 into 10 raised to minus 6. That is 6 microjoule. Clear? Clear? I don't think so. This will be asked as MCQ. It's a bit lengthy sum. But that's okay. Now from the next video, we'll start with chapter number 3. Okay? Thank you.